Hello everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes of your time to talk about the upcoming PARCC assessments. PARCC stands for the Partnership for Assessment in Readiness for College and Career. The PARCC assessments have been designed to measure mastery of the Common Core state standards. I would like to say that the Northern Valley schools have been engaging with the Common Core state standards since they were first adopted in New Jersey as our state standards in the summer of 2010. The curriculum throughout the Valley has been aligned to those standards, and there has been a concerted effort of all the schools to support and inform teachers and students to these changes for many years now. Additionally, we have known that the New Jersey assessments, the HESPA assessments, and the NJ-ASC assessments were ending in the spring of 2014. We also knew that the new PARCC assessments would be taking their place, and they would be implemented for the first time in the spring of 2015 in the next coming weeks and months. The PARCC assessments will be 4 grades, 3 through 11, and this is a big change for the high school. High school previously tested students in grade 11 with the HESPA test. Now students in grades 9, 10, and 11 will be tested with the new PARCC assessments. This will give data from 8th grade through 11th grade that can be much more helpful in planning, teaching and learning for the success of all students. In this presentation, I would like to show you information on why the Common Core state standards have been adopted as part of our curriculum and how the PARCC assessments have been designed to support learning for those standards. I would like to start with a 2-minute video that clearly expresses the value and the purpose of the Common Core state standards. Please remember that the Common Core state standards are at the core of all of the activities associated with the PARCC assessments.
Like it or not, life is full of measuring sticks. How smart we are, how fast we are, how well we can, compete. But up until now, it's been pretty hard to tell how well kids are competing in school and how well they're going to do when they get out of school. We like to think that our education system does that. But when it comes to learning what they really need to be successful after graduation, is a girl in your neighborhood being taught as much as her friend over in the next one? Is a graduating senior in, say, St. Louis as prepared to get a job as the graduate in Shanghai? Well, it turns out the answer to both of these questions is no. Because for years, states have been setting different standards for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. That's making it too hard to know if our kids are really doing well enough overall, and if they can really compete for a job someday. What we really need are clear goals. That's where the Common Core state standards come in. They're like a total sea change in education. Consistent, strong, clear benchmarks for English language arts and math. Here's how it works. You can think of kindergarten through 12th grade like a giant staircase. Each step is a skill your child needs to learn before stepping up to the next one. But right now, too many kids aren't really confident with like 2 + 2 before they have to move on to 2 × 2. We need more focus on the skills that help them move up the stairs, or they can slip up and fall behind. And there's another problem. What if everyone's stairs were made at different heights? Well, here we go again. They are. So, a boy in Seattle who's rocking an A in English literature could be getting a C on his Chicago friend's staircase. Oops. We need to create consistent steps in education, too. So first, each standard creates a landing on the staircase, a stop along the way as your child heads toward high school graduation. Each stop is a chance for every parent and teacher to focus on the skills their students are supposed to know at that step, no matter the zip code, language, or race. And more importantly, each standard makes sure all students are learning what they need to know to get to graduation and beyond. Because something like counting to 100 leads to understanding dollars and cents, which eventually leads to understanding how to manage a budget. Secondly, the standards are consistent from school to school, and they match up against international standards too. Now we know how we're doing compared to just about everyone. So even though local communities will still design their own curriculum, with the same rules, everybody can compete on the same kind of staircase. But standards aren't learning. That's why we need teachers, parents, and students to help make that happen by working together to help kids meet these standards. The world's getting more and more competitive every day. But now, when our kids get to the top of their staircase, they can have way more options on where their life goes from there. Clear goals, confident, well-prepared students. That's the Common Core State Standards.
With that purpose in mind for the Common Core Standards, that leads us to the PARCC assessments. So first of all, what is the PARCC test? The PARCC test is a computer-based test that will be replacing the former paper and pencil tests that were NJ Ask and HESPA. PARCC is aligned to the Common Core State Standards and is intended to measure how well students in grades 3 through 11 can apply their knowledge of concepts in mathematics and language arts. A promise of PARCC is that it is designed to empower teachers and parents by providing informative feedback on whether a student is on track to be properly prepared for college and careers. Moreover, the new assessments will provide our schools with meaningful data to help improve classroom instruction and raise student performance. So when will this PARCC assessment be given? So there's going to be two sections to the whole PARCC assessment. The first part is called the Performance-Based Assessment, or the PBA, and that'll be given in March. In this part, the students will have the opportunity to develop written responses and calculations for math, as well as narrative tasks for English language arts. This assessment is given first because this portion will need to be human scored, and that takes longer. The end of the year test, or the EOY section, that will be given in May. And this part of the assessment can be machine scored in a very timely manner. So in the first year of testing, extensive data analysis will have to take place in the summer to develop cut scores, etc., with an expectation that schools will get some results in the fall. However, the promise of PARCC is that in the following years, all assessment data will be available to schools in June before the end of the school year, which would give schools the opportunity to plan for teaching and learning in the next year. So what would this look like for a student? So a student taking the performance-based assessment that takes place in March, there would be 5 sections to that. 3 for English language arts, and 2, let's say a 10th grade student perhaps would be taking 2 for geometry. Now what that might look like is one of the units would be a literature analysis unit. And in that, for grade 10, the student would be given 75 minutes. Now the expectation is that the vast majority of students would be done with this section in 50 minutes. All students are now given time and a half, so that time doesn't play a factor in not finding out what a student knows about the particular task. So for that literature analysis task, there would be 2 readings. It would be a long reading and a short reading, and we can look up exactly how long those readings would be. There would be 6 questions worth 12 points, and there would be 1, what we call a prose constructed response, a written response, that would be worth 19 points. So that is the entire setup for a 10th grade student for that 1 unit. Approximately for that student it would take about 50 minutes, with the expectation that they would get up to 75 to finish it. Now that would just be for the 1 unit. There would still be 2 more units for English language arts. There would be, but basically the same amount of time, or a little bit less, when compared to that literature analysis. For geometry, there would be 2 sessions. One would be 60 minutes. Expectation that at 60 minutes most students would finish, but everyone will be given the full 90. And then over the 2 days of testing, there would only be a total of 18 items, and granted some of them may be multi-stepped, but 2 days of testing, 90 minutes in one day and 75 minutes of time in the other day, the students will be asked to answer 18 questions for geometry. And that's what the performance-based assessment would look like for grade 10. And that is similar for other grades with less time in the lower grades. As far as the results of the tests, just about every rule that followed for HESPA and NJ Ask hold for the new PARCC assessments, as they are replacing the former state mandated assessments. One big difference is that we would not be using the PARCC scores for placement in any way until we could see the validity of these scores, and it is our belief that that could take some time, because we would need comparative years to look at and to see if there truly was reliability and validity associated with these tests. So they would not be used for placement. And the information from these tests would be stored or sent to exactly the same places that it had been sent for NJ Ask and for HESPA in the past. I'd like to end this presentation by pointing you to some resources that have been made available at the Northern Valley Curriculum Center website. The address for this website is nvcc.nvnet.org, or it can be found under Curriculum tab on the Northern Valley Regional High School website. Once you've arrived at our main page, if you simply go over to Resources, Resources will take you to our All Things Common Core in Park. We've recently added a link that takes anyone directly to the performance-based assessment and the end-of-year practice tests for English Language Arts and Math. This is an excellent place where you can look at samples, you can engage with the type of technology that is needed to take this test. We've recently created this chart here, preparing for Park resources for spring 2015. Under the parent area, we have several frequently asked question areas from Park, from the DOE, and then Park for Parents, which is an entire set of websites made available through the Park Online website. Simply by clicking on these, it will take you directly to that link. This PBA, Park PBA schedule, references the information that was talked about. For example, what the testing units will be at each grade level, how long they take, how many questions there are, and what students will be asked to do. For teachers, we have put more resources for the classroom in these last weeks up to testing. For example, prepping for Park is something that we found very useful from a workshop that I had attended. It talks about the most significant common core key terms that are used. So just to help students bring clarity to the type of words that are used in the test with strict definitions for such things as compare, contrast, describe. We found that to be a very useful document. For students, we have direct links that take students to the Practice Math and the Practice ELA. There's our Prepping for Park document, and we encourage everyone to take a look at the tutorials that are found at the Park Practice website. It gives everyone an opportunity to engage with all of the tools and advantages that will be given to students that were not given on a pencil and paper test in the past, but it would certainly be wise to take a look at these ahead of time, and I know that is taking place in our schools with our students as we prepare to bring them to this test. I hope you found this short video to be helpful in answering some of the questions that you may have about the upcoming Park assessments. Please visit our website and take a look at the resources that we have provided, and hopefully they will bring even more clarity. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to call our office or to email me, and we will do everything we can to provide answers to your concerns. Thank you again for watching.